love mysteries? Do you love thrillers? Are you looking for some great mystery and thriller books? Are you looking for the best of 2018 when it comes to mystery and thrillers? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then my friends, you've come to the right video.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, I'm on lovely weather.
Hey guys, I'm Sankalpita and you're watching BookGeeks India, which is a channel where I make book-related videos. If you like books, if you love reading, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos, turn that notification on. And guys, please do comment because you know it that I love it when you comment. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about 8 mystery and thriller books which are the best of 2018. Now, when I say the best of 2018, what I really mean is that these are the books that I read in 2018 and not the books which were published in 2018. I'm going to be talking about only the books that I read. So these might be published in 2012 or in the 1990s, but I read them in 2018. So these are actually my best reads of 2018. A couple of weeks ago, I made this video called 5-star recommendation reads, in which I spoke to you about my best reads, my best 5-star recommendations to you. Now in that video, I included a couple of books which were very difficult reads, and I did not mention that while I was making the video. So what I have decided is, because my viewers are different, my audiences are different, so I'm gonna be considering the fact that most of the readers belong to 3 categories: beginner level, intermediate level, and a voracious or difficult reader level. In this video, I have 8 mystery and thriller books to show you, but I'm going to be segregating these 8 books into these 3 categories, that is beginner, intermediate, and voracious or difficult read, so that you understand and know which book to pick up and which book to stay away from. And now, because I have a lot of books to talk to you about, let's just get on with the video. So behold, book geeks, here are my 8 best thrillers and mysteries of 2018. In the first category, which is called the beginner level, I have 2 books to show you, and the first one is this one, Sniper's Eye by Mainak Dhar. I have already made a video review of this book, and I have also done a blog review, so if you want that, I'll put the links down below and you can go and check that out. Now, Sniper's Eye is the story of this ex-military guy called Aditya Ghosh, who was once upon a time, of course, an ex-military, but due to some circumstances, due to some bad incident that occurred in his past, he had to leave the army, and now he's just a normal civilian like one of us. He has a decent job, he has a girlfriend, and he's trying to leave behind his past and live in the present and continue to enjoy in his present. But that all changes one day when he's out on a date with his girlfriend, and while the two of them are in a mall, all of a sudden the guy standing in front of him falls down. What happens? There is a sniper in the premises and he hits the guy in front of him. Immediately, Aditya jumps into action as his military training kicks in, and after that, he is just sucked into a whirlpool of events in which he never wanted to go in the first place. So what will happen to Aditya? Who is the sniper? Does he have any other agenda? Is he a part of a bigger conspiracy? All this you will get to know in this book. This book has a lot of action, a lot of adventure. It has terrorism, it has India-Pakistan relations, a lot of spies, and a lot more. Book number 2 is The Best Couple Ever by Novonil Chakraborty. Now, Novonil Chakraborty is a writer who's actually very famous, but this, fortunately or unfortunately, however you call it, is my first read of Novonil Chakraborty. Now, when I picked him up, I actually expected something on the likes of Nikita Singh or Savi Sharma. I don't know why, but I had that kind of an image in my mind. So when I actually picked this book up, I was so much pleasantly surprised because it was so different from what I had expected it to be. Now, I have a couple of viewers who did not like it, so they mentioned it to me that they did not like it, but I personally like this book a lot, and if you are a beginner level reader, I think this is a great book to go to because you'll not be confused by the language and it'll turn out to be a great entertaining read. The Best Couple Ever is the story of these 5 couples who are totally different from each other, and yet their fates are intertwined. Now, there are some couples who love to flaunt their life on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. There are some couples who want to make other people jealous by posting their pictures. There are some people who just fake it no matter what, and if you are such a couple, you should be scared because you can be their next target. So there is this couple who actually hunts people who are fake. Basically couples who are fake, and then they do all kind of diabolical things to them. Some of these couples are players, some of these couples are victims, and who is victim, who is the player, You have to read this book to know that. And like I said, this was my first Novanil Chakraborty novel, so I was pleasantly surprised and I actually liked the concept, even though it had a lot of ugliness and a lot of other things which I do not generally like in a book. So if you're a beginner who's looking for a thrilling read, go for this book. So now I've already told you about two books that come in the beginner level, and now I'm going to be talking about the books which come in the intermediate levels. So book numbers 3 to 7 will be falling in the intermediate category, and let's get into it. The next book on my list is this one, The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor. Now, this is a book which I picked up in the summer of 2018, and I had so much expectation from this book that when I actually read it, I was a little disappointed. I was expecting a horror read, but it actually turned out to be a psychological thriller, mystery, murder, crime, fiction read. So it has all these elements, but it doesn't have horror, the kind which I was expecting. So at that time, I rated this book a little lower, but in the hindsight, I think it was a great read, and hence this recommendation to you. It is the year 1986, and Eddie, along with his group of friends, are having a gala time in the summer of 1986. Eddie and his friends are just kids who are on the verge of adolescence, and they're looking for different ways to spend their summer. Now, one particular day, there comes this guy who teaches Eddie this fascinating chalk figure game, and Eddie is soon captivated by it. So much so that he teaches all of his friends this game, and now they start leaving cryptic messages, secret messages, using these chalk figures all over the town. What starts as a fun and innocent game turns into something really sinister when all of a sudden chalk figures start appearing on their own. And one fine day, these chalk figures lead all of these members, Eddie and his friends, to a dead body. 30 years later, Eddie is a full grown man who's trying to come out of his past. He's actually left his past behind. But all that changes when one day he gets an envelope which contains a single chalk figure. Coincidentally, his other friends are also getting the same things and are turning up dead. The past that Eddie left behind is again back to haunt him forever. And what is the mystery of these chalk figures? Who are making them? Are they appearing on their own? What is the evil, sinister, diabolical force that is behind them? This is for you to know when you read this book, The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor. The next book that I absolutely loved, and I think you should definitely read it, is I Am Watching You by Teresa Driscoll. So there is this woman called Ella who, while on a train journey, overhears two gentlemen flirting with two young girls. Now, when she overhears their conversation, she realizes that these are actually not gentlemen. They are just fresh out of prison convicts, and she's kind of troubled about these two innocent young girls who are falling into their trap. She thinks that the girls are very innocent and they are being played by these two convicts. Now, Ella decides to interfere and warn these two girls about these two men, but then she thinks that she's just a passenger and people will call her out for being nosy, so she stays away from it. She does not tell anything. But the very next day, Ella opens her television. She understands and realizes that one of the girls, Anna, had gone missing. Now, Ella feels very guilt-ridden and she goes to the police and informs them about it. 1 year later, people still haven't figured out what happened to Anna. Where is she gone? Is she missing or is she really dead? There are secrets which our families are keeping. There are secrets which our friends are keeping. And then there is somebody who's troubling Ella. Somebody who's sending her threatening letters. So what is this mystery? Who is behind this conspiracy? I think that is for you to know when you read this book. And I can say that to you very, very confidently that you would love this book because this book was awesome. The next book that I read was also a fantastic read. I picked it up on my Kindle and I totally, absolutely loved it. So this is a book which is written by a Mexican author called Paul Penn. So this is the story of these two people, Rose and Elmer, who are a couple, and they have 5 daughters, 5 beautiful daughters whom they are very, very proud of. Now, they have this strange notion that they have to stay away from humanity, they have to stay away from civilization to protect their innocence, to protect their sanctity, to protect this one secret that they have. Their daughters don't know anything, but Rose and Elba guide this secret with their life. So they live in this very remote part of a Mexican desert called the Baja California desert, and this is a place where no one lives for miles and miles. Into this secluded sanctuary of their home comes a stranger who's looking for a place to stay overnight. The stranger is called Rick, and he also has his own secret. After a lot of thought, after a lot of pondering, Rose and Elmer allow these strangers to stay at their place for one night. But they soon realize that it was their most horrible mistake. The coming of Rick to their house will be the undoing of their family, will be the undoing of everything that they guarded with their life. So, what is this mystery? What is the mystery behind Rose and Elmer's secret? What is Rick's secret? So to don't listen much more, I think you should read the book today. And I can assure you guys that you will not be disappointed because this is such a fascinating read. So yeah, do check it out. The next book that I want to recommend to you guys is The Cyclist by Anthony Neil Smith. I read this book on NetGalley, which is a platform for reviewers which I'm a part of. There is this failed Marine called Judd who now lives in Minnesota. The company that he works for also has employees in other parts of the world, and it is in this common online chatting platform that he meets a girl called Catriona who's from Scotland and she also works in the same company. They start chatting and they quickly develop a kind of easy friendship, and before they know it, they have actually fallen in love. Judd cannot believe his fate because Catriona is absolutely gorgeous. Now, while they're chatting, they also discover that they have this common passion for cycling. Both of them love cycling. Now, soon, Catriona invites Judd to Scotland and he is very excited. When he arrives there, they plan this beautiful trip through the desolate Scottish Highlands, lonely mountains, and they have to cycle through all of it. But very soon, Judd realizes that there is not everything which is as it seems with Catriona. There is something else about her. And while they're on this trip, they're cycling through these highlands, they soon discover that they are being hunted. Now they'll have to cycle not just for their passion but also for their life. So, what is this mystery? Who is the hunter who's hunting them? And what is it about Catriona that seems a little off to Judd? To know this and much more, I think you should read the book today because it's absolutely amazing, guys. The next book in the list, which is book number 7, is an Indian book which is called Dead to Them by Smita Bhattacharya. I also read this book a couple of months back. I think it was in the middle of 2018, probably April or May. It's a really short, thin read, so if you're looking for something like that, please do check it out. It's a wonderful read again. I have reviewed this book on my blog, so do check that out as well. So this is the story of this young, talented, professional woman called Moira Madhwa who works in Mumbai. One day, all of a sudden, Moira goes missing. Now, as people start looking for her, they realize that all is not as it seems. There is definitely some mystery behind Moira's disappearances. And soon, when they start digging, all of them, her friends, her colleagues, her boss, everybody has a hidden motive. When people start inquiring, secrets keep tumbling out of their cupboards and they are exposed. Nobody really wants to find Moira because somehow they believe that whatever happened to her happened because of them. So again, this is a kind of psychological thriller that feeds on the insecurities of people, that feeds on the secrets of people. And I loved it and I think you would too. Finally, guys, the last book in this list belongs to the voracious reader category or the difficult read category. So, this book is not meant for people who are just getting into reading. This book is not meant for people who are intermediate readers or regular readers. This is a book meant for you only if you enjoy classics, a different kind of English which is somehow very, very, very different from what we read today, the kind of English that we read today. So, this is The Perfect Mother by Ruskin Bond. It's basically a short, thin read, but not an easy read, mind you. So it's a collection of short stories about crime fiction, about murders, about mysteries, about thrillers. And the stories in this collection are by some of the most famous authors of the past, like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, like Edgar Allan Poe, like Ruskin Bond, like Wilkie Collins, etc. So again, it's a fascinating read. I picked this book up on my Kindle, and it was a difficult read because the language is very, very difficult, and sometimes I had to go back to the stories in order to understand, because again, the kind of writing that was there in the 18th century, in the early 19th century, is very different from what we have today. So yeah, it took me a little while, but yeah, I think it was worth it. So guys, these were my 8 best thrillers and mysteries of 2018. Do let me know which were the best mystery and thriller books that you read in 2018. And also let me know if you have any recommendations for me. That's it from me in this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until the next video, which will be pretty soon, bye.